Debt outpaces wages in the Toronto real estate market, and Canadian mortgage arrears are up 89%. You have to wonder how that's possible. This is Michael Dougal. I'm going to share with you what's actually happening in the Greater Toronto Area real estate market, starting with the average price. And I feel like we're at a very interesting time of the year right now because what's so is it was expected that the average price would actually continue to fall. I think last year, specifically the second half of 2025, we saw that the market was on this downward trajectory where the average price was coming lower for all property styles, detached homes, semi-detached homes, condo apartments, and townhomes. Few previous months, we've seen the average price slightly increase. That could be because of the new government incentives, which is stimulating a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement amongst buyers, especially first-time buyers. We're also seeing the number of active listings is at a lower point than what it was last year. Last year, we were at a record number of inventory. Now, it seems that there's less listings, specifically around the holiday period. A lot of those homeowners decided to delist their property. Maybe they could be popping their listing back up sometime, maybe late spring or the summer, but that hasn't happened just yet. So we have less active listings, more buyers in the marketplace, and as a result, a slightly higher average price. And that actually is what I predicted earlier on this year. Commonly being asked, Michael, is it the right time to sell my property or should I wait longer? And I think first thing is you need to make a decision. Do you want to sell your property in this current real estate market where the properties are about 20% less than where they were at the peak? And if you are going to sell sometime this year, then I would think it's the best choice for you to go ahead and list your property in the spring because worst case scenario, you don't get the right offer on your property, you can take your listing off the market. And that's actually what we're seeing. It seems that there's this conflict between sellers and the buyers, and the way that buyers are negotiating with the sellers is saying, hey, seller, you don't realize the current real estate market. You have to bring your price down. But the seller's saying, hey, it's my choice. It's my home. I can do whatever I want. And yet they can do whatever they want. So there's nothing wrong with trying. But at the same time, you want to look at the comparables, look at what's selling in your area. If you're in a condo, I think it's even easier for you to determine market value and then making a decision that way. One of the things I've learned over the years is that buyers and sellers really underestimate the seasonal fluctuations that happen in the real estate market. Like we can see here, for example, here we're looking at comparing February to March year after year since 2002. And you can see, anyway, within the past 15 years or so, there's only been 2 years where the average price has actually decreased from February to March. This year, we saw the average price increase by 0.9%. So, from what we're seeing in the market, January was really when the average price hit its lowest point. That's when buyers could have taken advantage. Now, it's tough to say. Maybe in the summertime, prices might come down. And here we're taking a look at 2024, 2025, and 2026. Again, we can see the seasonal fluctuation. It looks like the average price peaked in all the years just around May. So we're really looking forward to seeing how the spring market's going to shape up. As well, if we look at the month of March, we can see how the average number of sales has actually changed. And so 2026, we saw 5,039 sales take place. And in 2025, it was just over 5,000 residential sales. This chart here tells us a lot because we're looking at the past few years and how the number of transactions has actually increased or decreased month through month. And this looks like the largest increase. We can see February, there was about 3,900 transactions take place in 2026. March saw just over 5,000 transactions. So market isn't as active as it was in 2023 or 2024, but it's certainly more active than last year, specifically around this time, March, April, and early spring. Here's how the average prices changed both year over year and month over month. Single family homes, they're down year over year 7.35%. Month over month, up 0.2%. Townhouses down almost 9%, but month over month, they're up 0.4%. Condo apartments, wow, look at that. They're down almost 10%. But over the past month, they've increased by 0.37%. And the rental market is certainly very interesting. We can see that the year-over-year change is nil, but the month-over-month change is slightly less. Now, if we look across the different areas in the GTA, we can see that actually does differ depending on the area. For instance, Brampton, downtown, they're slightly up depending on the property style, like a one-bedroom rental in Brampton would be about $1,800. Downtown, it would be around $2,100. In the rest of the areas, we can see the average rental price has slightly come down. And we really need to acknowledge that the rental market is somewhat related to the real estate sales market. That's because the fact that our market for many years was driven by investors, and investors would purchase units where they believed with confidence that they could rent those units out. The vacancy rates would be low and they would have an appreciating rent. Whereas now the perspective of an investor that's buying a rental property is, first of all, will they cash flow? Second, is there a chance that they may not be able to rent their place out? And third, will they be losing money as rents for whatever reason may depreciate in the future? Very frequently, I'm talking to a potential client or a past client that wants to sell one of their investment properties that they purchased previously because of the bad rental market and also the fact that the Ontario landlord and tenancy rules, they do seem to favor the tenant, unfortunately. Here we're taking a look at the different cities across the Greater Toronto area and surrounding areas and seeing which areas have appreciated or depreciated over the past year. So we're looking at the year-over-year figures. Oakville is actually up 8%. Mississauga down 2.5%. Markham, wow, down 3.8%. Similarly with Toronto, Brampton is down just about 5%, especially for those detached homeowners that have property which they purchased between like 2018 to 2022. We're finding that they're having a very challenging time getting those listings sold, especially with some of the new construction that was purchased out there. Ajax down 6%, Milton down 6.3%, Halton Hills is down 6.5%, Newmarket's down 7%. Richmond Hill, Vaughan, and Aurora, they're all down about 10%. We can also see King down 18.8%, and Caledon is down about 23%. We recently obviously saw that HST was removed on any new construction purchases. And if you were to ask how the market has changed since then, it's changed in more of a way than I had expected. We've seen not only an increase of activity with the new construction market, but also that interest has somewhat moved over to the resale market as well, because buyers are now, first of all, they're getting excited to think, wow, they can actually buy a new construction home and subtract the HST from the purchase price. But then they're starting to think, okay, does it make sense to buy a new construction home or buy resale? And we're seeing that as a result of this, it's just created a lot of buzz in the market. And sellers are wanting to list their property as well and take advantage of the buzz. But one of the frustrations is that if you are to speak to a builder, they may, for example, tell you that they've adjusted their prices because of this and said, hey, you don't have to pay HST anymore. Therefore, we're increasing our purchase price. So it's starting to get busy again. If you need any help with pre-construction, with residential resale, of course, I'm here to help. It's Michael Dougal. You can call me. My number is 416-671-5218. And if you're a real estate agent looking for a great brokerage with excellent technology and support in your corner, then make sure to reach out to me. I'm very active on Instagram as well, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.